So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today at today's team meeting. And before we get started, if we had a regular team meeting, we would be sharing what's good, right? And we had actually a lot of great news that happened in the last 2 weeks. It was, first of all, Andy's birthday, and then we had a lot of babies that have been born. So since we cannot actually congratulate and celebrate in person, so I was hoping that I'm gonna share some of the births that recently happened. We had actually Nikki, who is the director of our agent services. She delivered a healthy baby boy the last 2 weeks. Then we had our own Krista, who delivered a baby boy on Sunday. And then yesterday, our own Christina with Celebrity Title delivered a baby girl at 3 p.m. So if you have a chance and you have some time, please send them a message, give them some, shower them with love on Facebook. I'm pretty sure that they will appreciate it. So before we get started, I just wanted to highlight that we actually have a Bold Pivot coming up. And I don't know if you heard from us about Bold Pivot. However, the maps came with a great video that I wanted to share with you, if you allow me to do so. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Wonderful.
The rules of the game have changed.
We're all having to pivot and adjust our lives.
We want to be prepared and ride through this with a lot of market share and mind share.
As we shelter at home, you want to make more money, Bold Pivot is the best answer.
Being in the room with other people, the virtual room with other people who are like-minded and are looking to try new things and adapt are the people that I want to be around so that I can learn best practices, get my unfair share, and be ahead of the market.
So my question is, you want to sharpen your presentation skills, work more efficiently, set up a home office to be more effective. That's the reason you want to take Bold Pivot.
Now in this time of separation, you need to coach more than ever, and there's no better value.
Bold works. Your business is going to get better, and so will your life.
So if you have not signed up for a Bold Pivot yet, please do so. You can do it by going to KW Maps, or you can reach out to any of the leadership team members, Barbara, myself, or anyone. We are more than happy to assist you. It's only $99, so please take advantage of it. And then today at 3 p.m., we actually have a sneak peek at Bold Pivot with John Prescott. It's going to be available on Connect, and we actually went ahead and we added the link on our website, kwsw25.com, or you can just go to our intranet, and that has been added over there as well. So please take advantage of it.
Guys, I want you to know that I'm going to be taking it. So if I'm going to do it, I want you guys to be joining me. So please sign up for it. It's a great opportunity. $99. That's incredible. I love the format of it. It's pretty cool.
Awesome. And one more thing before we actually introduce our guests today that I wanted to highlight is Gary Keller actually has an awesome podcast. If you haven't heard about it yet, it's called Think Like a CEO. And it's actually very short and it's loaded with great information. So please just go on Google and Google Gary Keller podcast. It's available on Apple. And I know many of you have been already listening to it. It's a really good info. And so you can jump on whenever you are driving somewhere, or now all of us are stuck at home, so you can just listen to it whenever you're making lunch, breakfast, dinner, wherever that is. So thanks so much. Today's guests, we have two of them. We have Robbie Jansky and we have Joyce Castillo. And the reason why I selected those two, and I will go ahead and unmute you guys so you can say hi. Hi.
Hello.
The reason why I selected both of you is because I've been watching y'all's production, and I see that in both of your businesses, you guys are doing really, really well. I see you have a lot of houses under contract, you have a lot of listings, and I don't really see any significant slowdown in your business. So I was hoping that both of you could actually share some strategies, especially marketing strategies, with the rest of our agents and kind of go into details on what are you seeing. So before we get started, I wanted to highlight y'all's production. So I see that Joyce currently has 3 active listings and you have 2 listings coming up. But what is really amazing is that you have 12 closings coming up, right? And then you also have a 10 pre-approved buyers in pipeline. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, great. And then Robbie, you have 13 listings on the market with 3 listing agreements signed, and then you have 3 closings coming up in the next 60 days.
Correct. Yes.
That's really good. I mean,
Thank you.
that's some really good results. Very proud of you guys. So I know that we are actually hearing about bulletproofing our transactions and double up on your lead generation. Share with us some of the strategies that you actually utilize to bulletproof your current transactions, and what are you seeing in today's market?
Who would you like to go first?
Joyce, you're muted. Here we go.
Okay, you want me to go first? Okay, perfect. So what I'm doing to bulletproof my transactions, and I'm going to read because I wrote it down. I am by keeping constant level of communication with my clients. So I touch base with them at least once a week. So I know you mentioned a couple of the people that I already have on my pipeline. So it's about 20 to 25. So I try to stay on top of it at least once a week, either by text message, email, or just a call, whatever they prefer. Because, you know, originally when I first meet them, I always ask them, what do they prefer? How do they prefer to be communicated? So whichever form of communication they like best, I try to touch base with them at least once a week, letting them know that, you know, the transaction is moving smooth. I also call the lenders, either for my buyers or for my sellers. I call the lenders all the time, at least once a week as well. I usually email them just so I can have a record of communication back and forth. I ensure that I discuss the buying and selling steps to every client on how it works. And I also ensure that title communicates with my clients. So they get communication from me, from the lender, and from title at least once a week. So I make it, you know, like a little outline of where I want, what I want, and I show it to them. I show it to the title companies I work with, and to the lenders. And so we all work together to make sure that they know, like, hey, we're still good. And if anything is falling through, then they're the first to know, hey, this is what's going on, or if there's something that's stopping the transaction, then they know what's going on too.
Joyce, I see that you're really heavy on the buyer side. Can you tell us a little bit of the feedback that you're hearing from your active buyers as far as looking at homes?
Feedback from buyers, what are they telling me? I mean, they're just asking me like, hey, how's the market? You know, with everything that's going on, is this a good time to buy? So I'm just like, this is the perfect time to buy. Interest rates are at the lowest point right now at 2.99. So I just kind of tell them like, hey, they're really low. This is the perfect time to buy, whether it's new construction or resale properties, whether it's resale properties or new construction. You know, with new construction, builders are offering a whole bunch of incentives. So, you know, it's a perfect time. So that's what I say.
And this is so funny. It's such a human aspect of us kind of adjusting to the new normal, right? Us being on Zoom, you have little kids crawling on us and you see family members talking, and that's okay. That's exactly what our sellers and buyers are going to experience whenever we are talking to them. And I truly feel like Liz Guevara is the one who mentioned it before. People are more understanding, you know, because we are all experiencing the same thing. Well, thank you for sharing. Go ahead, Robbie.
Okay, so Joyce brought up a lot of good points, and I'll reiterate her number 4 in a second. I have 3 written down, and the first one was working with the TC. Jana's actually, you're the one that actually encouraged me last year to get started working on one, and at that time, I didn't have the listings to support it. However, when I find myself today with 13 listings, trying to keep all of those going, yeah, it's pretty difficult unless you have someone else working with you on your side. Kind of looking over your shoulder. We both know that 2 heads are better than 1 in that aspect. And so it's always good. That's one really good way that I found to help bulletproof. And I have a great TC that does a good job for me. Her name is Mary Kate. She's in our office as well. She does well. So that's my number 1 right there as far as bulletproofing. My number 2 is just simply making sure that everyone on your team, whether it's the lender or it's your TC and it's yourself, they need to know how you want your transactions handled and what must be completed and on file before closing, with all the documentations, including the wire instructions for your commissions, including the signed buyer's acceptance of the property approval and things like that, just so that you can mitigate issues that may or may not arise down the road. Everybody on your team needs to be in line with how you think and how you want your transactions to flow, down to, you know, every single step that you can list out and let them know about. And then my number 3 is just holding everyone on that team accountable. Your TC, The listing agent or the buyer's agent that's across the table from you, the lender and the title company all need to be held accountable step by step and in very good communication throughout the entire transaction, being in constant contact. And just to make sure that, for example, one of the last transactions I did, the buyers were really slow on getting docs submitted to the lender. The buyer's agent wasn't good about following up with them to make sure that was done. This prolonged the transaction for an additional 3 weeks, cost my sellers additional money out of pocket, just because we weren't able to be in constant contact and follow up with each of those steps. The best way to bulletproof is you've got to hold people accountable to the things we must be doing during this time, and that's ourselves as well. And so, and then number 4, just reiterating what Joyce said, was make sure that the buyers and sellers understand the expectations during this time. You know, we're all going through different challenges, and so they need to understand the process from start to finish so that when small issues do arise, they don't get emotional about it and blow up deals and things like that.
Okay. So we know that Gary Keller also mentions be creative and be competitive, right? What are you utilizing as far as marketing strategies during this time to actually generate more business? And have you doubled up on your lead generation? So we know whenever you actually read the shift, if you've been doing 2 hours per day, now you should be doing 4 hours per day, right? What are you seeing? What have you implemented? And what are you doing as far as marketing? Joyce.
Okay, so for me on marketing, I do 100% social media. So what I do is I post daily on my Instagram story. Instagram stories, my Facebook stories are all linked in one. So I post things every day, I'm posting everything. I talk about, I talk about me, I talk about my daughter, I talk about business, I talk about active listings, I talk about under contract properties, and just kind of motivational quotes or, inspirational quotes. I also put that on there. I get a lot of feedback. I mean, on a daily, I probably get 50 to 70 messages on social media in one day.
Would you mind to share with me how many followers do you have on Instagram?
I think I have about 4,500, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like 4,100 is what I have.
All right, this is something that I want to share with you guys because actually Joyce referred me an agent, and I asked that agent, I was like, so how do you know Joyce? And she mentioned that she doesn't know her, that she just knows her, that she follows her on Instagram. So then I went on Joyce's Instagram, and what I've noticed is that Joyce is what we call an influencer, right? So would you say that 99% of your business actually comes from an Instagram?
Yes, I would say that, 99%. Okay. So, like I said, I get a lot of messages on a daily on there, whether it's about business or, other things, that they kind of get to know me. So the people on my Instagram actually know of me, know who I am, know what I do, and so they trust me. They're more trusting towards me. If they have a question, they're shy, they don't know what to do, or, whatever it is about the home buying process, it's always, a message here and there. And so most of those are converted into either buyers, sellers, or they even send me leads without me even meeting them. So that's amazing, right?
That's great. Would you share with our agents the name of your account on Instagram in case they want to go ahead and follow you?
Yeah, it's the Texas Real Estate Agent. Simple. It's all spelled out. The Texas Real Estate Agent. That's it. And so I also do social media is my number one thing. Instagram is my number one thing. I do have a Facebook. I think I have about 2,000 to 3,000 people. So Facebook has more of like and friends, and Instagram has more of people I've never really met, if that makes sense, So, and I get people to view my stories, maybe 15 to 2,000 people daily. So they're viewing my stories. Okay. So I also follow up with my sphere, and I try to call at least 10 people on my database daily. Since this coronavirus thing happened, I try to make at least 10 calls, not asking for business, not asking for anything, just letting them know, hey, are you okay? Just making sure you and your family are safe. If you need anything related to real estate, don't hesitate, give me a call. Let me know. I'll be glad to help you. So those calls actually help. They've helped me before when I take bold and I call for leads. They don't send me something then, but eventually they do send me something, or I convert them into buyers or sellers. So that always helps me. The rest are just referrals from every client I previously had. So for every one client that I close, I get them to refer me 3 people. So most of them have given me 3 to 4 people. And what else?
Okay,
So
Joyce, how do you ask for the referral? Do you ask at the closing table? Do you ask actually throughout a transaction? How do you ask for the additional business?
I actually don't really ask for it through the transaction. I'm done. When I'm done with them, they send me a review and everything. You know, I call them or text them back and I tell them I appreciate their business. If there's anyone that they know, family or friend that, you know, may need my assistance, I would love to reach out and help them out. So usually by me letting them know that, they just send me people. You know, like I closed a transaction in December. She sent me her dad. So I have $500,000 right now under contract with her dad. And then she also sent me her sister-in-law. That's another $225,000 under contract within 3 months. So
that's amazing. Proud of you. Cool. Robbie?
Yeah, so I think you hit the nail on the head, Yana, when you mentioned double down. We've got to make sure our system's in place and do everything that we can, even more so during this time since things have slowed down. So what I concentrate a lot on is getting clients to complete my online reviews and ratings, whether it be through realtor.com, which I consequently get a lot of leads through, HAR, Zillow, Yelp, Facebook Business, Nextdoor, Google My Business, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of these different portals, or however you want to call them. And I use those and I cross post across all of those reviews. I share them. I share other social media things across all of those different portals at the same time. And so getting clients to review those things, the people out there looking for listing agents and looking for buyer's agents, they read through those, they check you out, they Google you, they do all those things. And the more influence you have on social media, like Joyce is doing a great job, the more you come up in SEO Google searches, that's where they find you and that's where they get more comfortable with you. So reviews and ratings are huge. You can also go back into Zillow and manually input your previous transactions, the ones you've closed, whether you represent the buyers or the sellers. I recommend you do that because all of us agents have ratings on Zillow, whether you realize it or not. And the more you can input the transactions that you've completed, the more your ratings go up. And not a lot of people know that, but you have to manually go in there and do that because of the way their syndication works. They don't automatically pull all of that data, who sold the properties, who was the listing agent stuff, right? So in addition to that, I feel like I've got kind of an edge over some other agents because I advertise in up to 5 different MLSs that I'm a member of.
Tell us more about that, because I know that some of the MLSs are actually at no charge to our agents. So tell me a little bit more about the ones that you're a member of.
So I'm a member of HAR, of course. I'm a member of TXLS, which is Texas Land Listing Services, and member of Lands of America, and also the Central Texas MLS. And there's one more out there that skips my mind. But regardless, whenever you get a listing, you list across all of these multiple MLSs to gain the additional exposure for all the buyers out there. It exponentially doubles and triples your exposure out there. So get in anywhere you can, and that includes, you know, specialized Facebook groups for land listings and buyers that are looking for land and things like that. And that goes into my next point of get into and get involved with Facebook interests and hobby groups that you like and that you're a part of, and you're slowly getting recognized in your field, even though you're not always talking about that. And make sure they know who you are and what you have to offer.
So Robbie, what I'm hearing as a high D is this is a lot of time and effort I have to put into posting on all of these different websites. What do you see as a return on the time investment?
Actually, it's not a lot of time and investment. And the way you get by with that is you put your systems in place. I use a ton of simply copy and paste, and a ton of templates and things that I save and just reuse and reuse and reuse. Reuse the hashtags, reuse things like that. And so once you get these systems in place, you figure out what works best for you. You have all your tabs saved on your browser. You click one button that opens 10 tabs, then you just cross post in each of those tabs. The same thing, copy and paste the same photo, the same text, the same everything. So yeah, it can be time consuming to get set up, but once you get it set up and get the system rolling and stay consistent with it. I've not done a good job. I used to be really good on social media about consistency, 3 times a day. I've gotten away from that, and it's hurt my business, even though I'm still doing okay. So consistency is key, and having those systems in place makes it a lot easier and quicker than you think.
All right. There's a question for both of you. Do you guys recommend using Nextdoor to promote your business?
I do not use any paid advertising through Nextdoor. I only do it organically by just offering value, solutions, and answering questions that neighbors have.
Okay, awesome. Joyce?
I also do not use Nextdoor. I think some of those are kind of like blocking the real estate from you posting stuff like that. So I don't do it. So what I do is I used to work out at the gym, but now I work here because obviously we don't have any gyms. So I work an hour and 20 minutes every day, and I've gotten to know every neighbor on my street from the right and from the left. And so now I have a future clients, and now they know I'm a realtor and everything. So before I used to be a little afraid, a little shy, you know, to go out there and let them know like, hey, I'm new to the neighborhood and I'm an agent. But they've actually reached out to me and said I'm motivating them to come out and walk and run or whatever, you know. So they're like, oh, what do you do? And I'm just like, hey, I'm in real estate, drop by and, you know, give them some business cards and all that good stuff. Another thing is my daughter, you know, she's a small entrepreneur. So what she's been doing on Fridays is she sets up a lemonade stand, and she would walk around Monday through Wednesday and deliver like little invites and letting everyone know like, hey, come over, I'm selling lemonade, water, and all this extra stuff. So the neighbors will come out and say, hey, you're doing a great job, she's doing great, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, this is a perfect time, Mom, I'm gonna go out and give out your business cards when I'm delivering my stuff. So she's been doing that. So
that's awesome. That's great. All right, for both of you, Joyce and Robbie, what would be an advice for an agent that actually is experiencing a significant slowdown in their business? They don't have anything in the pipeline, and they have very limited hours to work just because of either their fear or having kids at home.
I would just say there's no, like, you have enough time. Like, the time is here, the time is now. Like, there's no time to wait. Like, everything is closed. Where are you going? What do you have to do? You know, I mean, I'm a mom too, so I take care of my kid, you know, and I work out and I still work. So I don't think there's an excuse as to not to have any business. If I was to not have any business, I will use every resource necessary. I will use social media. I will walk. I will door knock. I mean, I don't know, I will call expireds, for sale by owners, drive around, look at who's trying to sell by themselves, and I will just call them and make them sell it with me. I mean, I will just do whatever it takes to get business. That's what I would do.
Okay, Robbie.
Joyce is giving out some tough love right there. And I'm with her 100%. I think what I would say is accountability. You need an accountability partner, or you need someone holding you accountable to make sure you're putting in the hours and the effort and the work to get the results that you want, because at the end of the day, we all have quote unquote limited hours to work, and the limits you place on yourself determines the success that your business will have. And so you choose if you want to work 5 hours a day or 16 hours a day. You know, in the past, I've worked my 14, 16-hour days. I've put in my time, and now I've got the listings to show. You've got to use all these different tools and tactics at your disposal that we're trying to kind of share with you to be able to gain some of this exposure. There's just tons of ways to do it out there. And if you ever have any questions, everybody knows we're all open books. We're happy to answer and help any way we can.
Absolutely. Great. And we also know that actually that's why we have the Bold Pivot, right? To help us with the extra accountability, because we all need it and we are all experiencing the same thing. I mean, I am a mom as well. My husband travels, and sometimes there are days when I don't feel like coming to the office. And, you know, there's a pile of laundry, and then, yeah, limited grocery, and I don't want to go out. So we are all in this together. And it is very important that we actually, as Robbie said, we hold each other accountable, as well that we actually stick to our schedule, right? The routine is actually more important than ever. So tell us a little bit about your routine before we actually wrap this up, Robbie and Joyce. And in the meanwhile, if anybody else has any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask. And that way you guys take advantage of picking their brain.
Okay, well, number one, since we're all staying at home for the most part, I qualify any leads to the max before I step out of the house and go show any homes, just to keep everybody safe and for my own peace of mind and saving my time, number one. But as far as routine wise, it's just working from home, cutting the distractions out for the most part, the best that you can, holding yourself accountable. and really, really digging down into that time blocking and keeping a schedule. Everything I have now goes onto a schedule, and it does not get deleted. It does not get replaced. It just gets moved over to the next day or the next hour, wherever it needs to. But just that's my way of holding myself accountable, is that schedule and that time blocking, just to make sure that things get done.
Okay, great. Joyce, talk to us about your schedule, if you don't mind.
So my schedule, I use my daily bulk planner. So I use this one. I still use it, as you can see right here. I also use, and I time block. So I time block the times that I'm working. I time block my workouts. I time out checking homeworks with my kid, cooking, and then doing my showings back. I also try to keep one of these every day to like show you like, hey, I've called these people and this is where we're at. I also, like Robbie said, qualify most people, most clients that I get. As soon as they call me, they're ready to buy. I don't show any houses without a pre-approval, so I send them to my lender. So on a daily, I would say I probably get 2 to 3 clients, new buyers that are looking to buy. So I just send them out, and then once they're pre-approved and ready to go, I just kind of either do a Zoom call, a FaceTime call, or we just talk on the phone about what they're looking for, since right now we can't meet in person, and just kind of talk to them about what they're looking for, and then set them up on MLS and set up a date and time, and we go out and view properties. So that's what I'm doing.
There's a question that just came from Angela McDaniel. How much of your social media activity do you post and respond to yourself versus using an admin or VA?
For me?
Most likely.
Okay, I do all my social media posts and I reply to all of them. So first thing I do in the morning is I do 30 minutes of social media. Before I go to sleep, 30 minutes of social media. So I have my phone with me all the time. So I easily follow like motivational entrepreneur stuff, and I just kind of post a couple of quotes here and there, and I reply back, you know, either at night or in the morning. So that's what I do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for sharing your tips, strategies, and your passion. And good luck to you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Next, we actually have Shad, who's going to be joining us to talk about the census. So I will go ahead and welcome him in. Hello, sir.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm doing outstanding.
All right. Well, wonderful to hear. So go ahead and share with us the importance of census.
All righty. Hey guys, my name is Shad Bogany, and I want to thank Keller Williams Southwest, because you guys have been very active with helping us with the 2020 census. And I just wanted to reach out to you. We're in self-response stage now, and that's really, really important for us to be in self-response. Fort Bend guys have been right at about 57.7% response. That's one of the top in this area. Considering Houston or Harris County is at 45%. So I would have to think, because you guys have been so active, and Chad and the group and Jonna have been so active in helping us, this is why Fort Bend is leading. Why is the census important to realtors? The first thing is all the data that we use is census data. Every bit of it, even the third-party data, is census data. When they're thinking about building a subdivision, it's based on census data. And so it's so important that we be accurate. Currently, right now, this pandemic that we're going through, that's why we all on virtual calls, is based, the money that comes back into the greater Houston area, greater Fort Bend area, is based on the population count. So we're trying to get a very, very accurate count. It is easy to respond. The self-response has been extended to October 31st because of the pandemic. But let me tell you how you can self-respond. Basically, go to 2020census.gov, click on, it takes 5 minutes to self-respond, or you can get internet, you can get a phone call, you can call in at 844-330-2020. That gets you into the phone call to be able to do it, but it's simple just doing it online. And so what we're asking everyone to do is to reach out to your customers and clients. Hey, how are you doing? Hope you're being safe. By the way, did you do your census? Those are the things that are really, really important. And so we're reaching out, and I want to once again thank Chad and Jana for having us on to talk about the census. If you have not gotten a packet in the mail, just go to 2020census.gov. If you go to the Texas Realtor site, if you go to the Texas Realtor site, it's real. If you go to the Texas Realtor site, it's real simple. The Texas Realtor site has a big logo there where you click on and you can self-respond. Thank you so much. And a lot of you guys have already self-responded, but now it's about getting our customers, clients, and families to self-respond. And rising tides lift all boats. And I just want to thank all of you for taking this opportunity to hear me. And thank you, Keller Williams, for Southwest being one of my great supporters of getting everybody counted in Fort Bend.
Hey, Shad, I have a question for you. So what about if they don't have a code?
Then they would go to my2020census.gov or 2020census.gov. And when they click on, they're going to put their address in, and that's going to.
All right, because I think that's a question I've seen. People, you know, they get the little postcard and then they lose it, but they notice that there was a code on it. So
Right.
what do I do? So
Just go to 2020census.gov, click on the blink, be counted, and there you are. Because they're going to, when you put your address in, that's going to tie that address to you. And then they'll know that they've gotten a response from that address.
census is so important, guys. Thank you for sharing that with us, Shad. This is a big deal for real estate. We need to know what our demographics are, what our population is. It's important. So thank you.
And thank you guys for being a census champion. And I appreciate the partnership with you guys. You've been awesome. And the only thing that we are lacking are HOAs to get more involved. Some of them have taken, oh, this is soliciting. I'm like, no, it's not. But I will say First Colony and Sienna has been very active with us. And so thank you so, so much for helping.
Thank you so much for sharing great info. Appreciate
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, now we will go ahead and welcome Nimesh, who is gonna talk to us about the new feature that HAR has. Hey, Nimesh.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
All right, go ahead.
All right. Oh, you just put me on the spot, didn't you? All right. So I just heard you talking about. First of all, I hope everybody's doing okay. I just heard you talk about the HAR 300, or excuse me, the coming soon. So is that what we are starting with?
Unless you wish to do so otherwise.
No, you segued it. That was going to be my last thing, but that's because it's the most important. But that's okay. We'll start with that because it is the most important. Okay, so I'm sure Yana just enlightened you guys on the feature that is about to take place on Friday, May 1st. Okay, and it's really important. At the end of the year, NAR did come out with the announcement that coming soons, as we know it, are going to change. We didn't have that much detail at that time, right? So everybody started panicking that, you know, coming soons, as we know it, are gone. Well, now that we got detail on it, that is not exactly true. What it's doing is actually protecting you from, and the general public from people that were trying to take advantage of the feature. Okay. So, so moving forward, starting Friday, this is the general process that's going to take place. Okay. So if you are going to do any kind of publicly faced marketing, okay, so anything that the public has access to, okay, like, you know, like but not limited to your coming soon sign, your for sale sign outside with the coming soon writer. Any kind of flyers that you do, whether it's print or digital, you know, any kind of other digital marketing that's publicly facing, like social media, okay? Brokerage websites, your own personal websites, landing pages, all right? Any kind of digital marketing communication like email blasts. There are some multi-brokerage sharing networks, that all counts, okay? And anything that will show up on apps that the general public has access to, okay? So anything like that sort, anything basically that the public can see eventually, that if you're marketing it that way, then what's gonna happen is you're gonna have to trigger then the coming soon status, okay? This is a brand new status through HAR in our matrix, okay? And so if you do any one of these things, then within 1 day, you need to enter that listing in the MLS, okay? And you enter that listing in with the brand new coming soon status.
Oh, no.
Oh.
No, sorry.
Oh, okay. Well,
Sorry. Yeah, I got clarification today from
Okay.
Madison. Yeah, so sorry, you're going pretty close to right. No, once it is marketed to the public, once anyone in the public sees it, it must within 24 hours be on active status.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
the coming soon status is only to market to other agents. That's the only people that see it. So when you,
Okay.
so it actually is completely changing everything. So it kind of protects you from people trying to go after your listings. The
Double-sided.
people that, while
Right.
you have them on a coming soon, they're doing some repairs or something. That's what it's for. It shows that you already have a agency relationship with that client. So sorry.
No. I mean, if you have you obviously probably got more inside information than I do, right? Because I had seen a publication on it a few days ago, and that's what they were saying, because there was a lot of confusion there as
It's very confusing. It's
Right.
very confusing. But I was looking at something that Marilyn chatted
Sent
me
this morning, right?
going
Yeah.
over it. So it's a little frustrating. It's very confusing. It's very different from everything we've been doing. I know one agent asked, I shot this morning, well, what's the purpose of even using that coming soon feature? And I had the same question, but I do understand it now. It shows that you have an agency relationship with that seller, and so it's hands off for everybody else. That's what it is. It's
Right.
only for 2 weeks though.
Yeah,
So, and you must get that, was that 300,
HAR 300. Yes.
HAR 300 signed. It must be sent into HAR. Guys, I've always been there is some conflicts here, and as we move forward, but this is something that HAR, TAR, and NAR is very passionate about, and they will be policing this, and you better believe that you know who they are, but other agents are going to be policing this too.
Yes.
So this is something that they are very concerned about, and will be going after us. And it's a lot of pressure on the brokerage. They're wanting us to really police this too. And I'm not really big on policing things. I don't like doing that. I believe you guys are grown-ups. You know what the rules are. Follow the rules. But this is something they're putting a lot of pressure on us to be policing also. It is a big deal.
Right, and I think that the fine is $1,000.
Yeah, they're not taking this lightly.
Right.
Andy, just to clarify for our agents, if I have the coming soon, I cannot show the property in the coming soon status.
That's right. So
Show it.
if it's ready to be shown, if you can show it to anyone, it must be active. If you have coming soon signs, guys, you can burn them. You can't sell them because nobody can use them. If you got any coming soon signs up right now, you need to go ahead and take those down, because I think this all becomes active May 1st, if I'm correct. Yes, May 1st.
Friday. Yes.
Yeah, so you have to take your coming soon signs down. They are no longer an option. You cannot market to the public coming soon at all.
Yeah, I believe the only thing that is that is allowed without that is the just within your, from what I had heard, Andy, now you can clarify, from within your own market, like within your own brokerage.
Yeah, only agents only. And actually it can be other agents. It doesn't just have to be our agents. It's agents only, but once it goes to the public. So if you get a notification from another agent about a listing coming up or something, you can't go and share that either. I mean, it's cooperating with an agent only. You may not, it's not for public knowledge at all. That coming soon on HAR will not be syndicated. It will not even be on the public side of HAR.com. It's only on the agent MLS. So you guys know, you can actually do searches for it too. So if you're wanting to go after a listing, you want to make sure it's not already under, a listing agreement. If you're coming soon with somebody, you can do a search for it on HAR. So it's very different than what we're used to. We were the first to bring, I know we were the first to bring the coming soon to the area, because I remember when we did it, we had a lot of upset agents, and then everyone started following suit. it was a great thing. It was a great marketing tool, but I guess it got out of hand.
Yeah.
And so now they are taking it away from us.
Yeah, you're right. And you're right about the syndication. No Zillow, no Realtor.com. It's not going to go anywhere.
So I guess this also means that, you know, it doesn't say here, but from everything that I've read and the rules that Marilyn sent over or clarifying some things, we're not going to be able to, if you're blogging about a listing coming up, you can't market it at all. So it's frustrating. I personally feel it's a little bit of a disservice to our clients, but it's supposed to be in the name of fair cooperation. Basically goes back to, you know, you're really not supposed to have pocket listings, and they're looking at it as more of pocket listings.
Okay, great. Nimesh, anything else you would like to share with us?
Yeah, there was a couple of other things I wanted to go through, and this is not our normal technology update as we usually do, but it has a tech background through it. So I wanted to start out. I'm going to share my screen. As usual, I want to show the kwsw25.com website again. You guys can come here to get all your links, videos, schedules, updated information. I'm sure the coming soon information is going to come on here as well. Okay, but the one I wanted to start with is Bold Pivot. All right, and if you scroll down to the middle of the page, we do have a link directly going to Bold Pivot. Okay, and when you go there, all right, it's going to bring up the Bold Pivot information. I just wanted to run through it real quick for two reasons. Why am I bringing it up? Well, there's a tech angle on it. Due to current situations, Bold Pivot was created for us because of the shift that is ahead and is going to be all virtual. Okay, it's going to be from the comfort of your own home. Okay, and the other huge benefit is that instead of it normally being $800, it is $99. Okay, it's going to last for 4 weeks, and it's 2 days a week for 2 hours. All right, and so if you go through the KWSW25 page, you can actually see some details. Now we actually do have a lot of agents that have signed up, but there's still a lot that might be. I've been asked about quite a few times about what do I think about the Bold Pivot, and if I'm doing it. I am doing it, even though I've done Bold twice in the last 10 months. It should give us a good foundation for what lies ahead. Andy's always been saying recently that you know, take your unfair market share, and this can definitely build a great foundation for that. For those of you that are, you know, maybe dual career and getting back to going into the offices, this is still a great opportunity for you because it's actually going to be recorded, and then you're able to replay it at your own time. Okay. A little bit of this going into the schedule. It's going to be every Tuesday and Thursday from 1 to 3. And then there's also, for those of you that have done Bold before, there's going to be coaches corners on Wednesday and Friday, also from 1 to 3. So you have access to the coaches, and they give you some extra coaching there. Again, the classroom sessions will be recorded, so you can go and catch those if you missed the live streams of them. Okay. And the second reason why I bring it up, if you guys don't know yet, my competitive nature, especially when it comes to our market center as a whole. Okay, so for those of you that have signed up, you've probably noticed on the Bold Pivot Facebook group, they're giving us rankings. All right, the top 10 market centers with registrations, and there was a couple on here. There was a couple on here from Texas, actually. KW Memorial was 10th until this week. I think they have about 115 that have signed up. 118 gets you in the top 10. And I believe from last count, I think we're at around 65 agents have jumped in. So for those of you that are on the fence, I think it's a great opportunity for tenured agents to, you know, to hit the ground running, you know, with this shift coming up, and for new agents to you know, utilize the tools that are provided in Bold, okay, to get a great start in this shift. All right. So that was, that's the little spiel on Bold. I want to quickly shift to something I brought up last week, and that's the paintitred.tech, which is the tech group at KW has come up with as far as you know, doing their part for Red Day. The deadline is coming up soon, so if you were, I just wanted to mention it again. If you go to paintitred.tech, I will put it on the Facebook group now. The deadline is this Sunday. Please go in here and submit all the local businesses that you love in our area, okay, with their Yelp address, And then what they're going to do is we're going to compile a list, and it's going to be shown on this website where then everybody, all the other KW agents can see the list of what everybody loves. And then if they've been there and they like the establishment that you're recommending, then they can go to their Yelp page and leave a great review and mention, you know, how they love the love that business. Okay, so help your small businesses out that you love going to because you know it's been hard recently. So this was an idea that, in fact, what our region was one of the brainchilds behind this, and that's why we're really trying to push it to make sure that we have a great participation from our region. All right, guys. As far as the regular updates go, the KW app will be updated this week. It's going to have some major updates as far and HAR. The HAR app is brand new today, I believe, or yesterday. There was an update that pushed out, and it's kind of roping in the whole new virtual tour, 3D tour thing that HAR has added now to their site. Okay, to their consumer site. All right, that's it for me, Jan.
All right, thank you so much for sharing. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. I'm gonna welcome Celebrity Title, and I am still looking for Dale. Here he is. Here we go. Hi guys. Hello. Hi Dale. Can you get, we cannot, here we go. Let me help you. Looks like you're not connected to audio. Dale?
Yes.
Hi, you are here.
Yes.
How are you? All right. Well, go ahead and give us an update. What are you seeing in the mortgage industry? You're muted.
I'm sorry, are we unmuted? We're good now. Okay, so what we're seeing recently is there has been some miscommunication from lenders to the buyers or the borrowers that currently have forbearance loans. The misinterpretation was that every lender was going to require that after they delay 3 months of payments, that all of their payments would be due at one time. So Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac have both come out and said that 30 days prior to those payments or to the forbearance term being over, they will be contacting borrowers to discuss options for them. And those options, there are 3 different options that they've come up with. One of those options is going to be that they could pay all of their mortgage payments that they were forgiven or delayed all up front. They could set up a repayment plan that might look like they would have to increase their monthly payment so that they catch up those payments. Or the other option may be that they could put them on the very back end of their mortgage. So the government looked at this and said that, look, it's unfair that you guys are giving them some kind of a forgiveness. It is not really benefiting the buyer if they're going to be hit with 4 payments all at once. So that's some information. If you have any buyers that have gone on and decided to go into forbearance with their current lenders, they need to have that conversation with the lender and determine how they are going to move forward and set up a repayment plan if that's the best for them.
Okay, great info. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Hi, Letitia. How are you? You're muted.
I'm good. Can I
There we go. You're good. All right. Well, tell us what's happening in the Celebrity Title, except having babies.
Right. So the first one I did want to announce, Brindley was born yesterday, 7'28", 7 pounds, 3 ounces, 21 inches long. So she was a big girl, and spoke with Christina today, and she's doing great. So for all of you guys that wanted to know, she had her baby yesterday. We're really excited. We now have a Celebrity Title baby.
Yeah.
Outside of that, a couple of things. I want to remind everyone that we are having a CE class on Friday from 10 to noon. Bond Law Firm will be discussing probate, estate, and elderly law. So that's something to join. If you don't have that information, just reach out to me and I'll be able to provide that. The other thing I'm really excited about, and this does regard title, today, I know last week I came on and I talked about remote ink notarization, what that means for you and what that what we're waiting for. So today, officially, Governor Abbott put out his orders citing, it was actually came out from the Office of Attorney General, citing that we are able to do remote ink notarization. So that's super exciting for all of you. Think about all of the people who need to have power of attorneys done, and that's something that they can now do remotely. We are waiting for our underwriters. I reached out to everyone this morning once I saw the actual orders were out. All of them had stated that as soon as they see these orders, they're going to go ahead and accept them, but they're just trying to figure out how that's going to work. So once the underwriters actually all have that lined up, then they will accept that information. So that's going to be another benefit. I know that we're going back to work, but we still have an industry and an environment that people don't feel safe just yet. So that's going to give people the opportunity to take some of the paperwork that they would normally have to do in person and do it remotely. So that's exciting. That will be, you'll be able to do that just for the 30 days. It's ending, I'm looking at the actual orders now, and I believe they end May 30th. It is a PDF form, and you can get that directly from Greg Abbott's website. I can send the link over so that you guys can actually see the PDF. For anyone who doesn't do business with Celebrity Title, that way you're actually educated on what's happening on the title industry. We would love to have you come to us, but we understand this is just information we want you to have and know. So if ever you have a person who's pushing back on that, saying that's not an option, that's not available, these are actual orders. So you'll actually have the information. So.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, Andy, we actually have a question from Dangoon, and the question is the new listing agreement available for May 1st, 2020? Do we have any update on that?
Oh, goodness. I did see something about that, and I do not know. It's not, I'm sitting here looking at what Marilyn sent over this morning. It's not on that. But wow, I just read something about that.
So we know that the new listing agreement actually are required to be used after May 1st, and we are actually waiting to hear back from Marilyn. I didn't know if you had any direct.
Yeah, it should be. I can't imagine it not being, since we are required to use it.
So we will most likely make sure that it's going to be posted on Jobloop and available to our agents.
Right, and we'll check on that. Yeah, good question, Dan. Glad you're paying attention.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much. Dangoon said that he has a listing on Friday. Congratulations.
Do you mind if I go on and say something else?
Please.
Okay, so we are working on a plan for opening back up. We will be sending out an email about that today, what our plan is. It will be in accordance with, that what Governor Abbott came out, just a little bit at a time. So we're working on a few things, but I do want you to know we will be opening back up a little bit at a time. We will have our staff here though, I guess starting Friday or Monday for sure. And we'll be using, safe measures also, but be watching for that email to get specifics. But I do want you to go ahead and know that we will be opening back up more for everybody's use.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate you participating in our team meeting today. We hope that you actually learned something from some of our rising stars. And thank you so much, Celebrity and NCAP. And as well as, I cannot forget our Reliant vendor. I recently switched my electricity to her, and she was able to save me $200 a month. So as a Keller Williams agents, we actually have an additional 10% discount. So I highly recommend, if you have a different provider, go ahead and compare. I mean, she was really excellent in actually getting back to me and provide me with quotes, and super easy process. I actually did not have to lift a finger except electronic signature to switch. So anyway, give her a shot.
Thank you, Yana, for doing this today. You did a great job.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.